Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to this first change session of It's a Dog's Life. I keep wanting to say of It's a Song of Tara, but it's not. It's a new campaign, obviously, but it's stuck with me. But no, It's a Dog's Life, and we are here with Thalmid, and your character is.
Xander?
No, not Barry, of course. Xander, yes. Goes to show how much in control of my faculties I am. Here we go. Xander Evans. And we are dealing with a slightly unusual situation with Xander in that when we join him, he is, in fact... He is an adult.
Yep.
And yet has no idea what is about to hit him. But we shall see. We shall definitely see. So, you are in the city of York. And is there a particular reason why your character has found himself in England, in northern England of all places? Because he is in fact, as I recall, he is in fact American.
Yeah, Xander is American.
Yes.
Mainly, he's a little disenfranchised with the military. So he is a military man. Has served in the American Special Forces, and after one of his best friends died, he kind of didn't care anymore.
Oh.
And so he's helped a few people, mainly like homeless veterans and stuff in America. He's traveled a bit, and just kind of wants to fall off the face of the earth.
Right.
So,
yes. Well, in that case, you are currently on the lookout for a specific fellow in this city, because, as you said, you're helping other, homeless, or you're helping homeless veterans. Rather, you're not in this situation. You haven't quite reached that stage yet.
Nope.
But you're helping homeless veterans who are in dire straits, and you've heard there is a guy who's living in the streets of York. A man by the name of Joseph Hunt, who used to be in the Royal Marines, and he served both in Kosovo and in the early days of the Second Iraq War.
Right.
That's about as much as you know of him, except that you've also been told that when he was stationed overseas, something happened, and he, like so many others, sadly, developed a very, very bad case of post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD. And his life fell apart when he came home. He lost his family. He lost his ability to make everyday things, work. And he ended up in the streets.
Yep.
You don't know anything else about him but that. But he's definitely someone who could use a helping hand getting back on his feet.
Right.
And when we find you, you are located near the city cruises up here.
Okay.
It is evening. And you have been told that the public bog up there, the Lavatory, which is noted there, is often frequented by homeless people after hours. Basically, it's a place where quite frankly, people can go and take a leak.
All right. Yeah.
And everybody enjoys using a place that actually has a bog roll once in a while.
Right.
And And so you're standing there as as the first couple of people arrive. The first person to get there is a woman, so you're pretty sure this isn't Mr. Hunt, but it's a woman who is she's bringing a dog along, and she approaches very, very carefully when she sees you, because you're an unknown quantity to her.
Right. Yeah, I think as Xander is kind of standing there watching the people kind of start to filter in.
Yeah.
He gets up and slowly approaches the woman, knowing that, he is unknown to her. He doesn't want to spook her.
Yeah. She when you get within maybe 5 or 6 paces of her, she kind of starts to back away a little if you still approach her, because that's clearly close enough,
right,
for her.
Right. I think Xander kind of like holds his hands up in a very like placating, no, I'm not here to hurt you type of gesture.
Well, she reacts relatively positively to that. She's like, oh, okay. Who are you?
I'm sorry, miss. Don't want to startle you. He keeps his hands out. It's like, my name's Xander. I'm looking for a gentleman who I believe frequents the area. You wouldn't happen to know a Joseph Hunt, would you?
Yeah, I know Joe. He's a good guy. Is he in trouble?
No. Thank goodness. I've been looking for Joe. I'm actually here to help him if I can.
Oh. Well, that's good to hear. Joe
isn't
doing so well.
That's what I hear. We kind of share some similarities, and I know life after the military can be rough for some people, and I'm just here to see if I can help Joe out in any way possible.
Right. You're American, aren't you?
The accent give it away. He kind of smiles.
Yeah. She says and gives you a kind of a crooked grin of her own, and incidentally, the woman in question is it's this lady. She's got that little dog with her, and she nods, and she says, my name is Mary, and well, Joe doesn't usually come here, but he's often at St. Benedict's in the evening, because to get a bed.
Of course.
If you know of it.
I don't know the area too well, Mary. Would you mind kind of helping me out here?
Oh, sure. She goes over to right next to where the cruises, the cruise boats are basically moored for the night. There's like a city map on a big placard, right? Of basically the map that you have in front of you on the screen there.
Okay.
And she points to this place here.
Okay.
And tells you that right there is a shelter called St. Benedict's, and that Joe is usually there in the evening, and if he's not, then they have a much better chance of knowing where to find him than, well, anyone else, basically.
Okay. Yeah, I think Xander's just kind of like nodding as she's talking, and like, thank you, Mary. No
worries.
Can I buy you a meal or?
I wouldn't say no to a meal.
Perfect. I think he pulls out some money and just takes her hand and presses it into it. It's like,
she very happily accepts it, and thanks you, bless you, thank you very much. And
and Mary, if you
yeah,
hear of
yes.
any other military vets or anyone who needs help,
Mm-hmm.
send them my way if you can.
Sure, but should they? Uh, your name was Xander, right? Should they ask for you in any particular place, just in
Uh,
case?
I'll just be all over the place, really.
All right. Well, I got a
And he,
good look at you. I can give them a description of you at least.
okay, and I think he like fishes in and like pulls out a little piece of paper and writes a phone number down.
Yeah.
It's like if they're able to call me, this
Oh
is my
yeah.
number.
Oh, great, great. She takes the phone number and puts it in a pocket, and she looks like she's taking that quite seriously, because everybody basically there are two kinds of people living in the street: those who look out for themselves and those who look out for each other, and she's clearly one of the latter.
Right.
And she once she has the phone number and you gave her some money, she picks up her puppy and says, it's like, so we're gonna go get something to eat. We're gonna go get something to eat. And then she heads away down the street, basically back the way she came.
Right.
Apparently, she knows exactly where to go to find something edible.
Okay. Yeah, I think Xander smiles after him for a little bit, and then kind of puts his hands in his jacket pockets and kind of beelines it to where he needs to go.
Yeah, towards the shelter.
Right.
Yeah, and it's not a terribly long walk. The inner city of York isn't that large. If I mean, you can, the best way I can describe the size of it to you is if you look at the River Ouse, which is literally how it is pronounced. It is shown size appropriate on the map, and this is how wide it is.
Okay.
So yeah, the inner city isn't enormous by any stretch of the imagination. It's
right.
And as you can tell, if you look around the like in this area, for example, here, that those are old medieval city walls.
Okay.
So this is basically the inner part of a very, very old fortified city.
Right.
And just a second, something moved on my screen. That's no good. That is no good. There we are. Okay. So you walk there, and it takes you all of 10 minutes to find the place. And true enough, there's it's in a back alley, but there is a sign basically on the building that's facing the street. There is a sign and with an arrow saying St. Benedict Shelter for the homeless.
So, yeah, I think Xander kind of picks up his pace once he spots the sign.
Yeah. And you get to the shelter and it's obvious that it's open for business. There are people waiting in line outside, and waiting to be admitted in, either for a meal or maybe for a bed for the night. Mm-hmm. It is at the point where we're playing. It is it's in the middle of winter, so it's actually quite cold. And it's will definitely, if it isn't already, then you have no doubt that it'll dip below freezing during the night. It's already well on its way there. and obviously being, you know, out of that cold will be a huge help to whomever can get a bed for the night. But you can also tell from the sheer number of people waiting there and the size of the shelter, it's highly unlikely they're going to be able to, you know, fix a bed for everyone.
Right.
It's simply not large enough. But they, but the people who are there are you know, seem to be in pretty good cheer, and they're chatting to one another and so on. So, what do you do?
I think as Xander kind of approaches and heads for the door, and when he gets in, he's gonna scan the crowd there and see if he can pinpoint anyone that seems to be either like a worker or in charge, or anyone who could possibly point him in the direction of Joe.
I mean, at first, people are like, when you sort of skip the line, they're like, oh, right, he's not one of us.
Right.
He's okay, it's all right. Maybe he's there to donate or something. Then then it's fine. You can go in because you're not skipping ahead of others. Basically, that's
right.
That's the main thing. And you spot a woman who looks like she might be working there. She's middle-aged, a little pudgy, with a very friendly face. You know, she's the kind of person who looks like she was born smiling, basically.
Okay.
And she's got hair which is slowly going white. It has been fiery red at some point, no doubt of it, but it's going white at this point.
Okay.
But it hasn't gotten all the way there yet. And she looks at you when you approach, and she's like, "Oh, I haven't seen you before."
No, new to the area. Am actually looking for somebody, ma'am. You wouldn't happen to know if Joseph Hunt is in?
Normally he would be. He might be in the line outside. I haven't checked yet, but let's go and have a look. Why don't we? Is he in trouble?
No, not by any means. I know Joe used to be in the military, and I'm he like air quotes a counselor of sort to here to help.
Well, in that case, you are a godsend, sir, because Joe really needs it. And he might actually speak to someone who is a military man. We've tried very hard to get him to talk to a counselor, but she looks a little sad when she looks at you and says, "They don't get it."
No.
They haven't been there. I don't get it either. I haven't been there either, obviously. But it's a problem when they're supposed to help and they don't get it.
Yeah, I've served myself, and so I'm hoping I can at least break through a bit.
I really hope so. Let's go and take a look and see if he's there.
Absolutely.
And she takes you outside to the line of people, and she scans the group of people who are waiting outside, and you can see just for a moment the smile sort of, it gets a little waxen when she realizes how many people are there.
Yeah.
And I mean, now you've been indoors, you've looked into, what was probably the sleeping room. They might be able to take in 2/3 of the people waiting in line outside, and that's it.
Mm.
And she looks and she's like, "So has anybody seen Joe? I can't see him here." And there's a young man who sticks up his hand and says, "Yeah, I saw him earlier. He's not having a very good day." And she sighs sadly and basically looks at this young man and says, So can you tell me where that was? This gentleman is looking for Joe. And no, don't worry. He's not in trouble. Nothing bad is going to happen. This gentleman is here to help him. And suddenly everybody basically standing there is like, oh, well, I saw him this morning, and I saw him yesterday, and suddenly they're all willing to help because the community of people, they're willing to help one of their own.
Right.
And the young man says, I saw him down by, it actually wasn't that far away from here. It was down by the brewery, miss. He was I think he was hoping for somebody to give him a drink. And the woman sighs and nods and says, well, I suppose I can understand why. But when was this? And he says, oh, it's only about maybe half an hour ago or so. There's a good chance he's still there.
I think Xander turns to the young man and kind of puts a friendly hand on his shoulder. He's like, do you think you can show me or give me directions?
It's very easy. You go out of the alley, and you get to Bridge Street, and then you turn to the right when you get out there, and you go down Micklegate all the way down to Bar Lane. You just follow Micklegate to Bar Lane, and then you go around the corner there, and you basically come upon the brewery. It's super easy.
I think Xander pats him a couple times on the back. Yeah. It's like, thank you.
No worries.
Then he turns and waves to the lady and well, I'm gonna be off.
Yep. And she nods and is like, oh, good luck finding him.
Thank you, miss. And I'll head out the alley and then take a right and head that way.
Yeah. And by the time you get out there, it's getting dark. It's late enough in the evening now that it's getting properly dark, and you but there are still people in the street. Not many, because it's starting to snow a little, so people are kind of hurrying to get out of the cold and get indoors.
Mm-hmm.
But you follow the directions that you were given and walk down Micklegate, which is this street, and you get to Bar Lane, which is down here, and turn the corner, and you do in fact get to York Brewery, and there is no one around, which is a little odd. Because Toft Green, which it's located on, Bar Lane and Toft Green, it's still in the city centre. And it's just suddenly it's just everything just goes quiet.
I think just from his years in the service, Xander kind of perks up, looks around, takes his hands out of his pocket. That way they're free.
Yeah.
Because something in his gut just doesn't seem right. But he's going to continue towards the brewery.
Yeah. And as you approach, you realize that the reason why it's so quiet is because there were people here a moment ago. And strictly speaking, they're still here. Or at least one of them is. It looks like a truck driver, like one of the drivers for the brewery's delivery trucks.
Mm-hmm.
And he's still there and right over there.
Oh no!
There is an unholy unholy amount of blood. I mean, for you who've been in the service, the best way to describe it looks like he took a grenade very close to his, to his body.
Mm-hmm.
He's been ripped apart.
Yeah, I think Xander kind of stopped short of it, and then again, like, now he's on edge, looking around. He's just like, "What the fuck?" And like, slowly, kind of starts to back away from this.
You hear a frightened man's voice going, "No, don't go that way, sir. That's where it came from."
Yeah, I think Xander spins around to whoever. The voice.
There's a fellow there. This guy, who peers out from behind the truck, and waves you closer.
Yeah, I think I hustle over there very quickly.
And as you start to move over there, something huge, really something physically massive, comes out of the darkness to your right and just body tackles you. This is a really, really good linebacker tackle.
Right.
And, you're sent sprawling from this thing. And as you come over on, you roll over and come over on your back, and you're just about to see what the hell it is that is coming at you. You have a distinct sensation of you can hear growling, like animalistic growling.
Yeah.
And you can see, you're not sure if they are fangs or if they are claws, but bone of some kind, and it's sharp.
Yeah.
And then everything goes dark. You have no idea what happens. Everything just goes black.
Okay.
And the next thing you realize, where the next time you come back around, you haven't been in the city for that long, as you said yourself, but you are up on one of the old pieces of the existing parts of the city wall.
Mm-hmm.
You're stark naked. And you are absolutely drenched in blood.
I think, like, sitting up, like, what happened? Like, what?
Yeah.
The fuck are my clothes?
Yeah, where the fuck are my clothes, and who died on me?
Yeah.
Because nobody bleeds that much and stays alive.
Right.
So you're pretty sure it can't be your own blood, at least not all of it, because...
Yeah, I think reflexively Xander's, like, patting himself to make sure he doesn't, like, have a puncture wound or something on him.
Yeah. No, he doesn't. You don't. You don't have any wounds anywhere that you can feel or see, but but you do have aches and pains in places you're not. What the hell just happened? You have no clue whatsoever. Yeah. And at that point, you hear two sets of growls, and coming up over you or looming out of the darkness, basically, is a monster. There's no other way to describe it. This is like all the worst B werewolf movies you have ever watched as a teenager, for Halloween.
Yeah.
Do not do this shit justice.
Yeah.
It's about 9 feet tall. It is covered in slimy black fur. There is this viscous ooze dripping from its its teeth, from its fangs, and it's got solid yellow eyes. It's not even that it's, like a wolf has yellow eyes. No, these are just solid yellow orbs staring at you. And it raises up a hand, or claw, I should say, which is about the size of a toilet board.
Yeah.
Covered in this matte, slimy fur, and with these horrific looking claws on it. And at that moment, there's nothing you can do. You can't get away in time. You are so fucking dead.
Yeah.
And while that thought rushes through your head, you hear another growl from behind you, and something else jumps over you, barrels into this monster, and knocks it flat on its arse, and starts tearing into it. And you have seen hand-to-hand fighting. There's no doubt in my mind that a man in Xander's position has seen and probably even experienced hand-to-hand fighting for his life. You've never seen anything that gets even close to that brutal.
Yeah. Flesh
is literally flying. You get struck by some of it.
Yeah.
I
think at this point Xander's like trying to back away or like look for anywhere that he can just run the fuck away.
Yeah. And as you try to get up, you are about to get away, except you're still covered in blood. It's still snowing and therefore slippery. So you you slip on the wall, and you are about to fall off. And then something grabs you by one of your legs, and basically keeps a hold of you while you dangle over the edge of the, and it's a drop of maybe 16, 17 feet straight down onto concrete if they let go. Yeah. So probably
there's
not very
just a string
healthy.
Of expletives just coming out of his mouth like, fuck, shit! Don't let go!
Yes. Don't worry. I'm not going to. The voice says. It's rather a strange, snarly voice, but it puts you back on the whatever this being is. It's also mostly black. It's got some white markings in its fur as well. But it's not slimy, at least, and it doesn't look like it's about to rip out your entrails.
Right.
It's like, you are damned lucky I was nearby, or else that thing would have killed you.
Fuck is going on?
It gives you a decidedly wolfish grin. And it's not at all reassuring. It's actually quite disconcerting.
Yeah.
And this is basically to if it isn't obvious, this is a Krenos form werewolf that you're faced with.
Yeah.
and this beast looks you up and down and goes, well, you're one of us. At least tonight hasn't been boring. That's
interesting. One of you.
Well, how do you think you broke through those gates down there and got in here in the first place? And it points a large paw down towards a place where there's indeed a gate, because the city walls are not normally accessible, at least not at night. You know, that you can take guided tours on the walls and so on. And there are certain little stretches which are open to the public, but where you are right now is one of the places that is normally closed off. And you can see the gate down there. It basically looks like someone took an armored personnel carrier and ran it straight through there. That gate is never going to be a gate again.
Right. Right. Xander's just like, wait, I did that?
Yes, you did.
What was that thing? He like points in the general direction of like the slimy looking
the slimy looking thing is now replaced by a slimy looking man.
Yeah.
And he is very obviously also dead.
Yeah.
And the beast looking at you saying, "That is a black spiral dancer. I've been hunting him for 3 weeks."
Yeah, I think at this point Xander just kind of like sits down and like stark naked in the snow and just like cradles his head in his hand.
Yes. Well, we need to get you some clothes. There's a way of handling that, I suppose. Just a moment. The huge thing changes shape into a human form, and it's a woman. It's a very solidly built woman. She has the physique of somebody who, somebody who's pumped quite a few irons in her life. And she takes off her coat and throws it at you, and underhand throws. Not like she's just launching it in your face or anything, but she tosses it at you, so you have something you can put on. And,
I think Xander snatches it and like shakily puts it on.
Yeah. That's that is interesting. I didn't know we had a new one in town, but you have no idea what all this is about, do you? You're a little old for a cub.
No, I have no idea what's going on.
Holy shit. Oh, they're gonna love this back at the Sept.
The what?
Oh, you and I are not the only 2 werewolves in York.
What? Oh, hold on. Did you say werewolf?
What else do you think I am? You just saw me in my war form. What else would you call that if not a werewolf? And considering you haven't passed out from terror, you clearly are one as well. Even if you hadn't also spent the last 15 minutes, half an hour running around in pretty much the same form.
Yeah. Werewolves aren't... Oh, jeez. And he, like starts rubbing his forehead. Oh, okay. So, I'm a werewolf.
Well, I would say so. You've got a lot to learn, and probably not a lot of time to learn it in. As I said, you're very old for a first change. It's not unheard of. It's just... it's unusual for you 2 legs to be to be that old before it happens.
Okay. So, where are we going?
Well, right now we're going... right now we're going to go and find more like us. And hopefully we can get some answers.
Okay.
Because you're going to need them.
Yeah, I would I'd like to know what the fuck is going on.
I can't blame you. By the way, from the way you look, my guess is you're a Bonegnawer. You're not exactly purebred.
I don't know what that means.
It's a tribe. We have different kinds of werewolves.
Okay.
She reaches, she holds out a hand if you want a hand up from your seated position.
Yeah, I think Xander gladly takes it. Yeah, still,
yeah. She yoinks you up on your feet, and says, "Well, let's go."
Okay, lead on, I guess.
Yeah, she's at this point, I should say, she didn't change into Homage. She changed into Glabro, which is why she's that big and rough still.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, she leads you out of the city center and towards where the sept is located.
Okay.
And basically, your the thing that happens is you get to the sept, but by the time you get there are already people present who are, let's just say that they're in a state of, they're not very happy. Because apparently somebody has been spotting wolf-like beasts running around in the inner city of York. And somebody has been reporting that to the constabulary.
Mm-hmm.
And now, when you get there, you are immediately singled out as being the primary culprit of this problem. So the rest of the night for you is spent being looked down upon by other werewolves, with the notable exception of one or two who seem to treat you at least a little nicer. Yeah. But for the most part, they aren't pleased with you, because now the established werewolves there have, as one of them puts it to you, yes, you probably have a lot of questions, and we're going to have to answer them. But before we can do that, we need to do some spin control on the disaster you've just made for all of us. And that is basically, that is your first night as a werewolf.
Okay.
Your deed name, when all of this is said and done, becomes False of Walls.
Yes. I love it.
And that, I think, is going to be, unless you have any questions, that is going to be it for this first change session.
No, that's perfect.
Excellent. Then, to the listening audience, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening in to this first change for Xander, and I will see you around for any of the others, or for further future installments of It's a Dog's Life. So for now, thank you very much, and bye.
Bye.